Okay, so you know how tough it can be to find a job, right? Like you're fresh out of school, your resume's basically blank, and you're supposed to magically know how to land that dream job.
It can be so overwhelming trying to figure out where to even start.
Right. It's like you're thrown into this maze blindfolded and expected to find your way out. And it's not just new grads either. You could have years of experience in one field, but then suddenly need to switch gears completely.
Absolutely. It's a common thread across so many career journeys, that feeling of being lost in the job market maze.
Exactly. And that's where I think employment support workers come in. They're like the seasoned guides in this crazy maze who can help you find the path that's right for you.
They really act as advocates for individuals, helping them navigate all the ins and outs of the job search process, and especially break through those barriers that might be holding them back.
So it's way more than just saying, hey, here's a job board, good luck.
Definitely. It's about understanding each person's unique skills and experiences and then figuring out how those translate into the job market.
I see. So it's like taking someone's background, let's say they're in the military, for example, and helping them showcase those skills to civilian employers.
Precisely. Like maybe they have incredible leadership abilities from their time in the service. An employment support worker would help them highlight those skills on their resume and during interviews in a way that resonates with potential employers.
That makes so much sense because sometimes it's not just about having the skills, it's about knowing how to articulate them in a way that clicks with what employers are looking for.
Exactly. And beyond that, it could be anything from refining someone's resume and cover letter
Yeah.
to prepping them for those nerve-wracking interviews.
Oh man, interviews are a whole other beast. I had a friend who was brilliant, so qualified for every job he applied for, but put him in an interview setting and he would freeze up completely.
That's where coaching comes into play. An employment support worker might use role-playing or mock interviews to help someone like your friend build that confidence and practice articulating their experience in a safe space.
So it's like having a personal career coach in your corner, someone who not only helps you with the practical stuff, but also provides that much needed encouragement along the way.
Exactly. It's about empowering individuals to take ownership of their careers, build confidence, and ultimately achieve their professional goals.
I love that. It's not just about finding any job. It's about finding the right job, the one that aligns with your skills, your passions, and your long-term goals.
Absolutely. And that journey can look different for everyone, which is what makes the role of an employment support worker so dynamic and rewarding.
So where do these employment support workers actually work? Are we talking government agencies, nonprofits, what?
You'd be surprised, actually. They work in a pretty diverse range of places.
Like what kind of places?
Well, for starters, you've got government agencies. They
Ah,
often hire employment support workers to help people connect with job placement programs, training opportunities, things like that.
that makes sense. I guess those roles are super important for making sure people know about those kinds of public resources.
Exactly. And then you'll find them in nonprofit organizations, charities, sometimes even within private companies tucked away in HR departments.
So it's really about understanding the needs of both the job seekers and the employers trying to bridge that gap.
Precisely. And here's where things get really interesting because technology is completely changing the game when it comes to employment support.
Okay, now you've got my attention. We've mentioned AI tools before, but how are those actually being used in the day-to-day work of an employment support worker?
Imagine having access to a database that could tell you exactly what skills are in high demand in your area, or even analyze someone's resume to see how well it matches up with current job openings.
Wow, that would be incredibly helpful. Like having a cheat sheet for the job market.
It's pretty close. And some AI tools can even analyze interview responses, providing feedback on everything from the content of what someone said to their body language.
That's wild. It's like having a virtual interview coach right in your pocket. But with all this technology, where does the human element come in? It seems like empathy and interpersonal skills would still be super important in this field.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it.
Hmm?
Technology can enhance the process, but it can't replace that human connection.
It's about finding the right balance then,
Right.
leveraging the power of technology while still maintaining that personal touch.
Exactly. Because think about it. Someone who's been struggling to find a job for a while, they might be dealing with feelings of self-doubt, anxiety, even isolation.
You're right. It's not just about the practical aspects of finding a job, it's about the emotional impact as well.
And that's where the empathy and emotional intelligence of an employment support worker becomes so vital. They can provide encouragement, celebrate small victories, and help people navigate those ups and downs that inevitably come with the job search process.
So it sounds like to be an employment support worker, you need a pretty diverse skill set. Like you've got to be tech savvy, understand how the job market works, and also have that empathy to guide people through what can be a really tough and emotional experience.
You're absolutely right. It's a multifaceted role for sure. It takes a lot, but it can also be incredibly rewarding.
So for someone listening who might be thinking, hey, this sounds like me, this sounds like something I'd be good at, what are some of those must-have qualities that make someone a natural at this kind of work?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, strong communication skills are absolutely crucial.
Hmm.
You're constantly explaining often complex information to people from all walks of life. So being able to break things down into digestible chunks and adjust your communication style based on who you're talking to is key.
Right, because not everyone learns the same way or processes information at the same pace.
Exactly. And going hand in hand with that is active listening, really tuning in to what someone is saying both verbally and non-verbally to fully understand their needs, their concerns, and what they're ultimately hoping to achieve.
It's like that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right.
Building that trust and rapport is so important.
Absolutely. And that's where empathy comes in. Being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, understand and share their feelings, especially during those moments of frustration or self-doubt. That's huge.
So we've got communication, listening, empathy down. What about the more practical side of things? Are there any specific skills or knowledge bases that are especially valuable in this field?
Well, a solid understanding of job search strategies is a must. This includes knowing how to craft a killer resume and cover letter, how to optimize LinkedIn profiles, how to navigate those sometimes overwhelming online job boards.
So it's like being a career detective in a way, knowing where to look for clues and how to interpret them.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
And just like a detective, an employment support worker has to be adaptable. The job market is constantly changing, so staying up to date on industry trends, in-demand skills, new technologies, that's all part of the job.
So continuous learning is essential. You can't just get comfortable and assume you know everything because things change so quickly.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this career path so interesting. You're always learning, growing, finding new ways to help people reach their full potential.
We've talked about the impact employment support workers have on individuals, but what about the bigger picture? How does their work contribute to society as a whole?
It's a great question because their work really ties into some of the biggest social and economic issues we're facing today. Take diversity and inclusion, for example. Employment support workers play a vital role in connecting underrepresented groups with opportunities and advocating for more equitable hiring practices across the board.
It's about leveling the playing field, making sure everyone has a fair shot at success, regardless of their background.
Exactly. And with automation changing the job landscape so rapidly, employment support workers are on the front lines of helping people adapt and develop new skills for the jobs of tomorrow.
So they're not just helping people find jobs, they're helping them future-proof their careers in a world where change is the only constant.
Precisely. And that brings us to a crucial question for anyone considering this path. How will you, as a potential employment support worker, adapt and evolve to meet the ever-changing needs of the workforce? What unique skills and perspectives can you bring to this dynamic and rewarding field?
Those are definitely questions worth pondering. And if you're feeling inspired by what we've talked about today, I encourage you to learn more about this profession, explore resources like RoleCatcher, and maybe even connect with some employment support workers in your community. Their insights might just spark a passion you never knew you had. Until next time, keep those wheels turning.